This one the hit, yo. Ladies Sarojani. Bless up everyone. This is Jordan Ben from Jamaica here representing for the host, Lady Sarojani with the Caribbean Connection Show. Hey, Power 93.5 FM CHMR 11. That's a pardon me. I'm a criminal, so get on your searching. But let me tell you though, if you never know, I'm an island man with an African culture. No drugs, no in my bag.
Hi, this is Vinod from New York City, and you're listening to Sarojani on the Caribbean Connections.
Go, yeah. Your bumper is a magnet. I stick on like a magnet.
Yeah, it's magnetic. Join Sarojani on Caribbean Connections, Thursdays at 1. Walk through the sands with poetry from our great leaders and academics. Jive with us to soca, reggae, chutney, and calypso. Get your current cricket results, meet special guests, and more. Every Thursday, 11:30 Eastern, 1 p.m. Newfoundland time.
Hello, and welcome to Caribbean Connections. Well, as you all know, we're still digging out from all this snow we've had during the last week. But I certainly hope that Caribbean Connections will bring you some warmth and love into your hearts. Before I go any further, I'd like to welcome all of you on the island of Newfoundland and Labrador in Toronto, Regina, Saskatoon, Calgary, and in British Columbia. We want to welcome you from Roberts Creek, the Sunshine Coast, Maple Ridge, Vancouver, Burnaby, Coquitlam, and going over to New York, Connecticut, Washington, D.C., and of course, Berlin, Germany, the Netherlands, Nigeria, and to my brothers and sisters in the Caribbean, Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, St. Lucia, St. Vincent, Belize, and not forgetting the beautiful island of Barbados. And of course, St. Croix, the Bahamas, and all the other Caribbean islands I haven't mentioned. You know, I love y'all and welcome. We have an awesome guest on the show today, Olivea Rollins. But before we go any further, I would like to open up today's segment with this fantastic song by none other by Bob Marley, and this track was chosen by Olivea. It's called Redemption Song.
All pirates, yes, they rob I. Sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill the book. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs, redemption songs, redemption songs.
Are you ready? I know you want it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today on the program, we have our remarkable guest, Olivea Rollins. Olivea is a 19-year-old Black youth and young adults activist living right here in the beautiful province of Newfoundland and Labrador. She started her activism journey while she was in high school from 2016 to 2022. And being the only Black student in her grade from kindergarten to grade 12, she thought she needed to bring diversity to her high school. So in her final year of high school, she decided to implement Black History Month into her school's curriculum, and from there, her journey began. She not only advocates for the Black community within Newfoundland and Labrador, but all ethnic and diverse communities within the province. The following is our interview, which we recorded earlier. Good afternoon, Olivea. How are you today, my darling?
Good afternoon to you. I'm doing wonderful. And yourself?
I am doing fantastic. Olivea, even though one of your parents is white from Newfoundland and one is from Barbados, Black Caribbean man, what did you identify with? What's our ethnic group and why? And how did you feel about that?
I more so identify with my Black culture and heritage because a lot of not only the things that I'm able to do with not just my hair, but with myself, I am able to do more Black hairstyles with my own hair, whereas I have 3A, 4B hair. I have a mix of different types. I also have 3A on the back of my head, very loose curls. I have 3 different curl patterns. So for me, not only the hairstyles, but not only that, but who I am, what I identify with is Blackness, because I don't fit in amongst my white family members. I don't have that type of connection with them, I'll call it. I more so fit in with my Black counterpart family members because of the fact that I not only am accepted amongst them, but I'm accepted amongst all Black people I meet. I feel more at home and at ease with them because they don't show me that I am any different.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned early on in our conversation for our prep interview that you were the only Black student in your grade from kindergarten all the way to grade 12. When did you start noticing that, wait a minute, I am the only Black student here? And were you the only Black student in the school?
No, I was not the only Black student in the school. There were 1 out of 6. I was 1 out of 6 in the school. There were, I'd say, about 2 to 3 young men a year below me. There were about 2 other young men who were in 2 years below me. There was a young woman who was a year above me. And that was about it.
Hmm. And
That was
what emotions did knowing this evoked in you when you know you were getting these racist and discriminatory remarks? What was going through your mind, and what emotions were being evoked?
what was going through my mind at the time when I really started to experience discrimination and anti-blackness, not only anti-blackness, but hate crimes and death threats. The things that were going through my mind, honestly, were pity, not for oneself, but for others. Because how can people have that little compassion for others? How can people have that feeling within themselves? How can somebody harbor that type of negativity? I would love to be able to know. I don't want to ask them, but I would love to be able to know. Because
Hmm.
for me, to be able to look at other people and see diversity is beautiful. To me, that is absolutely totally amazing. I would love to be able to see more diversity, whether it be race or whether it be gender, whoever they may be. I want more diversity because what that means is human beings will have to assimilate. They will have to assimilate to a diverse community and population.
Hmm.
That's for me. But when it came to school, oh my gosh, I felt so bad for these other students who would come to me and teachers as well who would come to me with verbal like verbal anti-blackness, physical anti-black actions, anything that people did. Like for example, people would tell me to bathe in bleach.
Mm,
People
oh
were
my. Hmm.
That's just one of the many examples. Besides people on the bus, they would play videos of black children being beheaded and mutilated in front of me. They would be just like, "Hey, look at this," and I was like, "Oh, great! That's very lovely. Like that's something I of course want to see." No, I
Hmm.
don't want to be looking at gore or torture or sexual assault. That's what people would show me on the school bus. And
Hmm.
people would just randomly come up to me in the hallway with that as well. I was deeply disturbed by the fact that these children, because that's what they are, children are deeply gravitating toward, or they're deeply gravitated towards violence. I was like, why are the children being violent? What is wrong with the children? I would love to know. So I
Hmm.
asked my mother, I was like, Mom, why do they hate me? What did I do? Why is it that they don't like my skin? Why do they hate my nose? Why do they hate my hair? Why do they hate the fact that my lips are bigger? Or why do they hate the fact that my face is more depth because of my high cheekbones? Or why do they hate the fact that my body looks this way? Why do they hate this? They were just finding anything. Or why do they hate the fact that you and Papa are married? Why do
Hmm.
they hate that? Why do they think that you guys should get divorced? Why do they think we're tainted? I was
Yeah.
asking my brother these questions at like I'd say 9, 10, 11.
Oh my God. And did mom explain certain things to you that made you understand what is going on? Or did you still feel that you were lost in this world in school with all these derogatory comments and racist comments? How did you feel about that after having a conversation with mom and dad?
After having conversations with my parents about it, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of crushed me socially and mentally because as a child, you don't understand how somebody can harbor hatred. You don't understand how somebody can have that type of negativity within them. You never understand why. And you want to know why, especially as a young person with autism spectrum disorder. You want to know why. You want to have a reason. But when you realize that there is no reason, and it's just because parents are poisoning the young minds of children and giving them these ideologies, telling them that this is okay to do and that it is right. And because of the fact that these parents were saying that white is right in the
Mm-hmm.
society of Torbay, and people were saying that we're tainting the community and that we need to take our N word selves out of the
Mm-hmm.
community. They were saying
Yeah.
that
You
if we
actually
didn't,
had, oh, sorry, not to cut you. Go on. Go on.
they would pull out videos of the Ku Klux Klan And in these videos, you could hear audibly the necks of black men snapping. You could hear their windpipes being crushed. And they would tell me that if I were not to leave, that we would be next. They were saying that they were going to show up in the middle of the night with Molotov cocktails and burn the Negroes or Torbay to the ground. That's just a little glimpse into some of the things I would experience every day.
You actually had an incident with the math teacher in your school. Tell us what grade was that in and what really happened there. That was quite disturbing for you, as you mentioned.
Indeed. This was my first day over at the high school, and instead of just, going in and sitting down with my homeroom teacher and getting to meet him and getting to meet the other students in the class, he decided to ask, raise your hand if you are not Caucasian. And me having the knowledge of who people are, who belongs to what ethnic group, knowing that people of the Caucasus Mountains are people who are Caucasian, knowing that Caucasian people are North Middle Eastern, I knew so well that nobody in that room was Caucasian. Nobody in that room was North Middle Eastern or Middle Eastern, point blank, period. So I rose my hand because nobody else knew. Nobody else knew the meaning. So I was like, I guess it is I. So he goes, what are you? Are you black? Are you African? Are you African American? Are you Indian? Are you Asian? What type of monkey are you?
How
To
did
which
you answer that question, Olivia?
I did not answer the question. I got up and left.
Mm-hmm.
I,
And
I
what?
was deeply disturbed by it. I got up and left. I called my mother and my father, and I said, Mom, the teacher does not like that I am his class. And she's like, why? I said, well, he has asked me to raise my hand if I am not Caucasian. And she's like, oh, I'm on the way. Both of them came in. And they asked him not to talk to children like that at all, point blank, period. My father told him that if he were to speak to any child, no matter what they look like, no matter if they are black, white, gay, straight, whomsoever they may be, if you speak to another child like that, I'll be coming back. And that was my father's words. And that teacher, after we had that meeting, that teacher refused to grade my work. He refused to grade my tests. He started to completely and utterly disregard all of my assignments. He would not let me pass any of my math work. And I had him again for grade 9 for mathematics and science. And there was no other science teachers at the time. And I was begging my principal to let me switch out of his classes. And they would not let me.
And why not?
Because they said that the other classes were full.
I
In
see.
quotation.
And did you see a change in this math teacher's behavior? Because you need a grade in order to pass the class. So, how did you get that passing grade? And what did he do afterwards?
This was grade 7. So I started to go to the vice principal to get my mathematics graded because he would not grade it. And grade 9, I had him again for mathematics and science. And I am not very good at mathematics at all. I struggle very hard with mathematics. Any sort of numerics of the sorts, I'm not good at all. And I got some questions wrong, and I failed a test in grade 9, and he asked me if I was out of my cotton-picking mind.
My goodness. Now, this is all for a young girl, any young girl or boy, whatever your nationality or race. Did you seek any type of counseling or therapy to help you through all of this?
For a little bit, I did see a psychiatrist because my mother wanted me to get a prescription to see if my anxiety would ease because I started dropping weight rapidly, really, really badly. I stopped eating quite often. I ended up hospitalized a lot because of my experiences with not only that teacher, but with students as well. Because people were trying to cut off my hair, people were just awful, physically awful. People would beat me up. It
Mm-hmm.
was awful. I would come home and I would be throwing up before I got in the door because of how badly people were treating me.
Mm-hmm.
It was awful.
What were the parents of these children doing?
The parents of the children were condoning them. They were saying, "Not my child. Not my child. My children don't do this." And then when I come with the recordings of these children doing exactly that, but that's false. You shouldn't be recording them. Your child took pictures of me desperately trying to fit in using a vaporizer. I am not into vaping. I had no friends. I wanted to fit in so bad. So
Mm-hmm.
I picked it up. I used it. First person who did that took a picture of me, sent it to the principal. I got suspended for 2 weeks. Not allowed
Because
back on the bus for two
mm,
months. All because of that.
mm-hmm.
All because of
And
that.
there was also, I think you mentioned an incident with a girl as well in the school. What happened there?
There was a physical altercation that ended with a court case. They tried to get a restraining order, and um, when that did not go through, what happened was my father was waiting outside the bus stop for me, and we hear a woman complaining that there is a suspicious looking man outside the bus stop who looks like he's going to kidnap the children. That is my black father with his hood up,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for me outside the bus because sometimes getting off the bus, I would get kicked down the stairs. People would spit on me or at me. They were just awful. And my father was like, "I don't want my child to be experiencing this all the time, so I'm going to be waiting for you outside the bus." And I was like, "Why can't you just drive me to school?" He ended up driving me to school halfway through grade 11 and for majority of grade 12. I
Mm-hmm.
missed about 6 to 8 months of my grade 11 and grade 12 year because of how bad my post traumatic stress is. Um, my body has been shutting down on me quite frequently. I will have like bouts of physical agony because I have ulcers all over my stomach lining because of stress.
Mm-hmm.
They developed all throughout my stomach, all throughout the rest of my intestines because of stress.
Mm-hmm. Did you find it very difficult to attend school because you stayed at that same school all the way from from kindergarten to grade 12? So did you find it difficult to attend school?
Very. I begged my parents to let me switch to a different school on multiple different occasions because I was like, "Mom, I'm the only black person in my grade. I don't want to be going somewhere where people don't want me. I don't want to be in a place where people do not want me. I want to be loved. I want to be cherished as a child because no child wants to be left out or discluded or made to feel like they don't belong. No child wants that. And I didn't want that. I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to feel like I belonged in the society of that school and the system of that school. But majority of students who were a little bit older who lived in the area that I do, majority of them wanted to make sure that I either left the school. My mother was like, "No, you're not getting bullied out of the school." No, it wasn't that I'm being bullied out. It's there's death threats. There's people saying they're going to come to the house in the middle of the night and take me out of my window and violently assault me. There are people threatening to kill me and my father and my brother. And people still call my phone number in the middle of the night. I still get phone calls.
Mm-hmm. You
And
implement, oh, sorry, go
oh
on.
no, no worries, no worries.
You implemented Black History Month in your school. Why did you do it? Why did you see the need to do that? We've heard some stories. And what was the reception from all of this?
I implemented Black History Month not only to force feed the children anti-racism, because who else is going to implement it? Were teachers? No. None of the teachers over there are colored. Not a
Mm-hmm.
soul. There are invisible minorities. Yes, but none of them are visible minorities. Not one. I sent in emails to NLASD requesting for there to be colored teachers every single time that they would make us do those. You know how they have those annual, you have to, it's like a survey on what would make the school better.
Mm-hmm.
Every single time we had those, I would sign it with my name. You're not supposed to, but I would sign it with my name, and I in the paragraph of what would make the school better. Diverse teachers, diverse people, colored teachers, colored staff. You need
Mm-hmm.
to have colored staff in order to make a change. There was only one person who ever worked there who was of color, and she was a receptionist. And she got harassed that bad that she left.
Mm-hmm.
And this is by children, 16, 17, 18-year-olds. How do these people who are supposed to be helping our society grow harbor this type of hatred? I
Mm-hmm.
would love to know. And because of the fact that I saw this hatred so often and experienced it myself, experienced it to a point where I almost died, almost died because of how badly the stress was affecting my body, my mental health, and my physical health. Because of that, I was like, no other child can ever go through this. No other child can go through this pain, this hardship, because it tore me apart. I have really, really bad sleep habits because of it. I only get about 2 to 3 hours of sleep a night. I do not sleep by myself, and I'm almost 20 years old. I still ask my parents to come and stay with me because I'm
Mm-hmm.
terrified, absolutely
Yeah.
terrified.
Yes. And right now, you're in university, and as you said just now, even up to today, you're so terrified from all the comments you received in high school, and today you need someone to still be there with you, correct?
Yes, please.
Great. You also, well, before I get to that question, was there any teacher, and I know you said there was no one of visible minority on the staff and the faculty, was there any teacher you could seek solace with who could understand you and
Ye-
help you get through school? Was there anyone?
yes, I had three female teachers and one male teacher that I knew I could go to, and I still have contact with them, and they were my best supports because even when it came to like I know I'm like tearing up, but it's so difficult to talk about without doing so because I would write in my tests that I needed help because there were people outside the doors
Mhm.
threatening to kill me,
Do
threatening
you
to
want to take a
me.
little break? I'm okay
No, no,
with
no.
that. I
It's
know
hard
this
to
is
talk about.
very
No, no.
emotional. Yeah,
It does
yeah.
harbor a lot of emotion because I was a child. I was
Mhm.
only 14, 15, 16, like 11, 12, 13, because we started in 2016. We started over there because it was originally a 7 to 12. So when I started over there, I was just a little girl. I didn't know anybody when I started, but once I got to grade 9, I found my rock within a teacher. I found my
Mhm.
rock. And she was my socials teacher at the time. We still have contact. I have so much love and respect for her because I remember we had to write on racism one day, and I wrote about what I was experiencing. I wrote about who, and the first thing, right after she read it, she emailed me, she emailed my mother, and she emailed the principal, and she was not pleased with how I was being treated at all. which honestly is rare because the math teacher I had during grade 10, during when it got really, really bad, he saw my mathematics tests where it physically read off, I am being threatened, and there are people outside the door waiting for me. They have said they're going to cut off my hair. They said they are going to put things in parts of my body I'm not going to talk about. They have said these nasty things, and they said they are going to end it by slitting my throat because of the color of my skin. Can you please help me? And the only thing that he did was grade it as a 25. He graded my test as a 25 and handed it back.
We will take a break and we will be right back in part 2, continuing with this interview between Olivea Rollins and myself, the host of Caribbean Connections, Sarojini. Thank you. Don't go away. Stay with us, please.
Your bumper is a magnet. I stick on like a magnet. A magnet.
Yeah, it's magnetic. Join Sarojini on Caribbean Connections, Thursdays at 1. Walk through the sands with poetry from our great leaders and academics. Jive with us to soca, reggae, chutney, and calypso. Get your current cricket results, meet special guests, and more. Every Thursday, 11:30 Eastern, 1 p.m. Newfoundland time.
That thing just sticking on, sticking on, sticking on, sticking on me.
We will now return to the interview between myself and Olivea Rollins for Black History Month.
All right.
Olivea, pardon, I know this is bringing out a lot of emotions and, it's making you tear up and cry. And, I'm sorry. And I know you said I shouldn't apologize, but I think it gives our listeners a really good idea of what you went through, what you're going through, and how you felt at that time. And, I want to ask you about this very important project that you're working on with the Newfoundland and Labrador English School District Board. Tell us a bit about that.
When it comes to this project, this is the Anti-Racism Policy Act for Newfoundland and Labrador English School District schools. So what this is, it will implement not only a actual cause and effect, but it'll actually have consequences for the actions that these children commit. Because when it comes to a first offense of racism, you can't really automatically judge when it comes to it, because maybe it can be the fact that a child does not know, or maybe the child has, for instance, let's just say Tourette's, or let's just say we don't understand, right? We have to really home in and ask, do you know if this is wrong? Do you know that this is wrong? Let me help you go about this in a different way instead of going about it from a racism perspective. How about we teach you why it is wrong, and we teach you how to be an anti-racist? How about that? We give them the tools to become better. We give them the tools to make a garden, to dig a little trench and plant a seed, let it grow. They can do that, or they can dig a deeper hole and play in the dirt. And then when they play in the dirt, they can be considered a racist, because instead of using those tools to build themselves and build anew, what these children are doing instead is they're taking that as you are upset because it's my actions, I'm going to continue, instead of thinking, what I'm doing actually is really wrong. That there is what makes racism a choice, because these children can continue whether or not they either continue to commit these actions onto people, or whether they can stop and say, wait, what I did was really wrong and I need to become better. I've had instances with children and adults who have come to me saying, hey, I did this and I'm owning up to it, but I need you to tell me, as an activist, as a Black activist, as a Black woman, tell me how to move forward. Or I have had a young girl come to me, "Hi, I said the N word with a hard ER to a young black woman, and I want to not just reach out and apologize, but I want to become better. I want to become an anti racist." That is the start. That is how you help build these young children to become beautiful people. Because if you give them the tools and show them how to become better, you show them how to move forward, you show them how to do it, then there it is their choice and they can be beautiful. I know that children have potential. Children have so much goodness within them. There's that parents, because it's either parents or guardians, or it is those around them, because children are moldable to their environment. If a child is constantly seeing, for example, let's just say they are constantly seeing drugs or they're constantly seeing alcohol, they're going to become accustomed to that. They're not taught any different, then some of them will end up falling victim to that exact same pattern, the pattern of addiction, or they could fall victim of a pattern of racism. It is all depending on whether or not somebody will either A, step in and help these children and help them change their mindset and how they go about things, or it's depending on whether or not somebody actually is there or caring enough about this child. Because I know there's sadly so many people within this world who don't have that type of compassion for not only adults but children. Because you need to have compassion for everybody in order to be able to help them learn.
And Olivia, in relation to this question again, this item again that we've been discussing, the Newfoundland and Labrador English School District Anti-Racism Act and Policy. What are some of the consequences that you all are working on for students who behave in a very, very inappropriate manner against students of color?
The way that it will be handled, what I want to have for this is I want for the persecutor and the persecuted, or the racist person who's committing these acts onto this child repeatedly, or let's just say this is the first time, the child who's committed a racist offense and the child who is minoritized. Those two and their parents need to be brought into a room with a guidance counselor, teachers, and principal and vice, because whoever the teachers are who are seeing this happen also need to be brought in and have some sensitivity training. What is going to happen is they're going to get to the root of why this child is doing this to the other one. Whether it could be jealousy, or whether it could be that this child doesn't have the things that this one does, or vice versa, and the other one is getting mad. Or whether it be the fact that maybe the other child is hungry and they're seeing that this one has this, and because they don't have it, and they're seeing that this child who's a minority has this, they're angry because the fact that maybe it's this and their parents are probably preaching this all the time on them, or maybe it's this. It could be multiple different things that are causing a child to act out in a negative way and spread hatred. You need to get to the bottom of it, and then what we're going to do is give not just the child but the parents some homework. They're going to do some studying on the background of the child that they persecuted, and that culture, that heritage, everything about it. Whether they have to come in and learn how to cook meals from that culture, or whether they have to talk about a culture, what it's mandatory for them to do is have a project done by the end of that week on that child's culture, on that child's heritage, on who makes that child who they are. They have to make something to uplift that child. Because if you're going to be publicly shaming and publicly humiliating a child for who they are, you're going to be publicly lifting them up.
Do you feel hopeful that after this policy and act has been passed and implemented into the entire school system and brought to fruition, are you hopeful that there will be a change within the school system, the English District School Board?
I honestly am hoping for change, because a lot of change needs to be done, not only when it comes to the learnings of history, but when it comes to how racism is handled. Because No child should be looked in their face and told the reason why they're being bullied is because of the fact that they are colored and they chose to live here. No child needs that in their life. No child needs constant barraging of anti this or anti that or any form of discrimination. No child needs that. What they need is constant acceptance. So, what I'm looking to gain from this act is not just a change in the way that children see other children or see other adults or adults see other adults, but I'm also looking to hopefully see educators looking at it in a more positive light. That's all I want to see is positivity and acceptance from this.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to see come to fruition.
Mm-hmm. You have graduated now. I believe it's been a couple years now since
Since
you,
2022, so 2 years.
yeah, coming to two. And you're at university now, Memorial University of Newfoundland, in the city of St. John's, Newfoundland. How are you feeling today now that you're at university? Do you see a change from being in high school? Do you think there needs to be changes done and
I think
implemented in the system here at MUN?
I don't just think there needs to be a change at MUN, but I know there needs to be a change at MUN, a
Mm-hmm.
big one, and it has to come quick. There's diversity amongst students, but there's not very much diversity when it comes to educators. And some of the things I've seen within the system over at MUN, like for example, teaching racism from the white perspective, is not very accepting towards minorities and using things like the justifications of slavery as a book to teach during Black History Month is also deeply unacceptable. There are multiple different things I have seen and experienced and or witnessed myself within my almost 2 months over at Memorial that I can honestly say are disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
I personally am a little scared of, well, not a little, I'm very scared after experiencing what I have in high school and now being back in an education system publicly. I am stomach sick quite often. I'm terrified because what if I experience and or slash see somebody who has caused my experiences because post-traumatic stress. I I'm terrified. Even speaking about it makes my stomach hurt. But thing is in order to move forward, you need to speak about it.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel that we can eradicate racism here in our province of Newfoundland and Labrador?
Not within my lifetime. I can say that, not within my lifetime, but I feel that if people keep pushing the same ideologies that I'm trying to project onto our society, I feel only then will it really be squashed or terminated. Because what we need to do is have an anti racist mindset. We need to push that mindset onto people. And if people aren't willing to accept it, then that is too bad for them. They're going to have to see it every day when they go to their store. They're going to see it every day when they go to their salon. They're going to see it every day when they go to a fast food place or this place or that place, wherever it may be. They're going to see anti racism because the more and more we push for it, the more and more it's going to be accepted and then made mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
And once it's mandatory, then people cannot fight it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what I hope to see within my lifetime here. I
Mm-hmm.
want to see a time where I will feel safe enough to walk up my street without my white boyfriend or without my father. I want to feel a time within my lifetime where I feel I can walk safely up the street I grew up on. I want to feel like I can walk past some of these houses that I know people lived in or know people still live in, where they have done and said awful things. Those people who live there, I want to feel like I can walk past those houses without feeling the need to vomit out of fear. I want to feel safe, and I want for other children of all diverse backgrounds or all genders, all children. I need all children and young adults to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, we have to have an anti-racist mindset. We have to have that feeling within us, and we need to project that feeling out.
Mm-hmm. What thoughts would you like to leave with our listeners today? What lessons would you like them to take away today?
I would like for the children, for the adults, for the young adults, for the activists, for whomsoever it may be, who will be taking away some knowledge of this conversation. What I would love for them to take from this is not only do not be afraid to be yourself and be true to yourself and one another's, but never be afraid to speak out against discrimination, because for all you know, that somebody either has somebody in their life who needs that, or they have somebody that they love who needed that, or they have this or that, or whomsoever it may be. Acts of kindness. You need to always be acting with kindness within the body and the soul. You need to be kind throughout everything, because we're human beings. We're a species. We need to be kind to one another. We don't need to be constantly making more separation within ourselves, because again, we are a species. We need to be unified. In order to move forward, we need to unify. We need to cut the differences. We need to shake it and say, hey, you are like me. No matter what we look like outside, you are like me. We still breathe, sleep, eat the same way. Even if somebody may eat with a tube, you are still the same, because you still process it the same. No matter what may make somebody different, we are still the same. Even if somebody has third-degree burns, you could see their bones, they are still the same as I.
Mm-hmm.
No matter who they may be, no matter who wants to try and separate, we are all the same at the end of the day. Because at the end of the day, we were made in an image to love one another. And that's what we need to work towards doing. We need to really sit down and we need to say, although we are different, we need to love each other. We need to hug people more. We need to ask people how they are more. We need to check in with people more.
Mm-hmm.
We need to spread that love and positivity more often than we do. The littlest acts of kindness could really save people. And that's what I love about being kind to people. That's what I love about being an activist.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, my little message is be kind. Be kind and be lovely.
Olivia, I really want to thank you for coming on the program today. As hard as it is and was for you, I'm happy we're able to tell your story, and with the hope of that we can make a change, not only in Newfoundland and Labrador but in the world. And as you just said, for people to be kinder, more understanding, and create a better environment for all of us to live in, no matter where we're from. And I do want to thank you for sharing that message and sharing all your experiences and the emotions that you've gone through so that we can understand. Thank you so much again, Olivia.
And thank you very much for giving me this opportunity.
It is my pleasure. Thank you so much.
No problem.
You have just heard an interview between myself, Sarojini, the host of Caribbean Connections, and Olivea Rollins. We want to thank all of you for listening here today on Caribbean Connections and for giving us your time. Stay well, be kind, stay healthy, and we hope to see you next time. And for those of you who are able to stay on, we do have the second hour coming up. 2 to 3, you're going to hear some wonderful Caribbean vibes, so do stay on. But for those of you who are unable to, do take care of yourselves, and we're going to see you next time here every Thursday, www.chmr.ca, and on your dial, locally 93.5, 1 to 3 p.m. every Thursday. We're going to have a beautiful track take us out today that was chosen by Olivea Rollins. And this is a track called Song of the Mamuna Tribe of South Papa by Daniel Hansen, Drew Binsky, and the Mamuna Tribe. Bye for now, and see you next time.
Chronics. Dancing them see the performance. Enough people see me life and want one, but them no know say more time it look dormant. And them no see say I'm me belly me a crawl pan. Cause my mama just call me with tears in her eyes. She never know me have a stage show tonight. Not even she see the fears in my eyes. But me just a go and put on the show. Cause they don't know, yeah. They don't know, oh, oh. They see me smile, but they don't know what I feel inside. Them no know, only you know, only I know, Jah. They see me smile, but they don't know what I feel inside. Yes, in at the boiling sun, footing it on the street. Righteous music, me putting it on the beat. But nothing no righteous about how life set. If you no know hard life, then you no know life yet. Because my papa just call me poverty, make him a screw. Him never know, say me have a interview. But me still have to put on the show. Because they don't know, I said they don't know, yeah. They don't know. But they don't know what I feel inside. Only you know, Chronics. Only you know, oh yeah, yeah. They see you smile, boy, but they don't know what you feel inside. Yes, I. So long me make me ball, long me make me cry. Cause they don't know what I feel inside. Long me make me ball, leave me make me cry. Yes, I, yes, I, yes, I. Oh, and I say, love me, make me ball, love me, make me cry. Cause only I know, yes, Jah, yes. Only I know. Them say, Chronics come on the stage, I want done it. Him and him bandsman friend, them bunny. But them never know, say I one shirt. Me have to wash it and me have to sun it off. Them say me take the stage off. Them say me lyrics, them a flow. But them never know, say we have to work hard in a 6 feet of snow. They don't know. They don't